I have something for you, my friend. I have a gift for you. I posted this, by the way. There it is. I posted this image on my Instagram account about a week ago. If you want to see it, it's on my Instagram. I'm not going to put it in the description. But it's I thought it was kind of interesting because I have so many people go, well, if men and women are different, but they're complements, and I keep saying we're better together than we are apart, and I still stick by that. But it's not so much like, I mean, whatever your spirituality is, I mean, more power to you. Whatever your faith happens to be. But even from a biological, empirical, material sense, we are complements to each other. And if you look at the differences between women's brains and men's brains, you can see how we're complementary. Now, a lot of these things, I have dozens and dozens of gosh, where are they? I have to bring up my Scrivener here for a second. I have dozens of links to all kinds of studies that back up this stuff for, let's say, gray matter, white matter. If you look at the differences between men's brains and women's brains, there's lots and lots of research on this. It's not hard to find. But of course, the first thing anybody says is, where are your sources? And so therefore, I go and I dig up all the sources that I used for Rational Male number 4, which is religion, because in there, I quote quite a bit of these of this research data because I'm making an empirical case for the complementarity between men and women. Is that a word? Maybe it is. So if you look at the development of the brain in men versus the development of the brain in women, you can see that it happens a lot quicker. Women mature faster than men. That is just a fact. Does that mean men are dumb? Does that mean, oh, you're not going to be fully formed until you're 30? It also, by the way, coincides with the joke, which is men don't become men until they're 30. But say, oh, you're not fully developed until you're 30 years old. Well, is that a feature or is that a bug? Because in a gynocentric social order, if women are suddenly, oh, well, we're fully developed women at 22, we know what we want and we get what we want and do what we want, right? And yes, I saw. Anyways, let me back up a little bit. I'm putting out some of these links to articles and research and data that back up this chart. Because of course, what happens is everybody goes, "Show me the numbers. I won't believe you." And then I do. And then they go, that's just a feature article that's linking to a research study. I'm like, go click on the research study, asshat. It's there. You want me to give you the link too? Or you want me to do all of the work for you? Like, go look at this stuff. If you don't believe it, go click on the actual, the actual research that was done on this stuff. I mean, in some cases, it's like fMRI studies, right? I mean, we're using them. It's not like just, I hope this is true. No, it's like, there it is. We can look at the synapse connections, right? I'm not a neurologist. I don't pretend to be one on this show. Never have, never will. But so I'm throwing this out there. And I thought the more interesting thing was like, people just simply don't want to believe that men and women are different in a substantial way. And it's empirical data. I'm going to show you that empirical data here in just a second, because so many people tried to call me to the carpet on this. I gave them links and they don't want to click those links because too long, they don't read. But I'll give you shit about this thing that I don't like. Okay, well, in that case, I'm the rational male, and I'll be happy to give you those numbers. So the difference between men and women when it comes to our brain architecture is something that I got into with Ariella Grande. No, Ariella on, there it is. I put this on the Clips channel. I hope you guys will just be patient with me real quick. I won't show you the whole thing, but I thought this was a good exchange here.
If that doesn't apply to you, then it may not, and it may never. You know what I mean?
No, I think it does. I think I'm very nurturing. If you believe in astrology, some people that watch.
No, I think you are too. You're hugging.
I'm
came
very
huggy.
Girly. I'm very feminine. But I also
maybe you're in the same soul pod. Maybe that's what that is.
I don't know. What is it? What are you?
All right, I had to break this down. If that's not chick crack, a good example of chick crack, I don't know what is. And put a footnote in there because I'm gonna come back to
Aries,
that.
Aren't you like
Well,
let me
throw
You're
something
Aries,
in
right?
here.
I just found it out.
Let me throw something in here real
I feel
quick,
that.
because what we're having here is an emotional discussion rather than a rational discussion. Okay?
I don't think so.
No, we are, because
I don't think so.
What you're stating, your presumptions are that men and women, we both have these emotional states, and we need to develop these emotional states. I will tell you right now, that's bullshit. Okay. for men and women, for a biological fact between men and women process emotions differently, simply because of our neural wiring. Okay,
that's true.
So when somebody says get in touch with your feminine side, or I can't believe that you didn't cry during Titanic because you're a guy and you didn't that move you to tears? No, it didn't, because I don't process emotion the same way that a woman does.
That's very true. That's
and
very
so
true.
what we're doing right now is we're trying to force fit men, like reprogram us, our social learning, into a female correct way of doing things. So the correct way to emote is like a woman emotes. And guys are not built for that because we simply don't have the same neurological wiring for that. But we'll go and we'll say, well, because you can't do that, there's something very, very wrong with you. You must be emotionally stunted. You must not be able to get in touch with your emotions. If you were, you'd be more like a chick. You'd be more like a woman if you could just do that. But the problem is like, if we're going to say, well, we're both all blank slates and we both have the same capacity for emotion and we both have the same capacity for reason and whatever else, when we don't include our biological differences that predispose us to that, emotion is not fucking magic. It is not like some magic angel dust that drops down from heaven.
It's hormonal and chemical.
It is hormonal and chemical. It is an
100%.
interpretive process. So when you see something, you see the saber-toothed tiger and you have that adrenaline rush, you get fight or flight. You feel something right there, right then and there. For men, we tend to default to anger. Women tend to default to like crying or being upset. It's the vulnerable sex versus the sex that is really the disposable sex. But we don't process emotion. That's just one aspect of masculinity and femininity that is a conventional fact. But yet we still want to have this woo-woo magical thinking about things and say, well, we're gonna pretend that this Jungian psychology, where we have a female side and a male side. And you're a stunted guy if you can't find some sort of balance. You're already working against your own innate biology to do that in the first place. So that's why we have such a problem. We have gendered ideas about things like strength. That's why I was asking about that. What is your fucking idea of strength? What is that defined as? Is it physical strength?
Well,
is it
that's why I asked him. That's why I asked him.
All right, that's good enough. that was a part of that I wanted to get into, because that was the emotional debate. Like, people got pissed off at me because I actually, Tom, sorry, I renamed the title of that, heated debate ensues. I got enough eyes on the screen. Sorry, I kind of baited you guys on that one. My bad.